Good evening, Bona Sarah. It is 8:05 p.m. on the East Coast here. And after a long time away, I think it's been almost a full month since I've been at it with Unity, I am going to be doing some more programming for this app. And we've actually made some pretty good progress because I couldn't just let it sit idle while I was not streaming because I really wanted to get this done. And I wanted to get this done specifically right around now because I believe with the new year, many folks are going to try Ring Fit Adventure streams, workout streams, the like, and I think this is a natural pairing for such a thing. Also, because this is a plugin building stream, you're going to kind of get to see how the sausage gets made, so please apologize the scuff such as, say, the VTube Studio UI popping up, because I'll need to interface with that pretty frequently. But, yeah, so here we are. Let me pop over to... Here is the app. It looks, I think, very different than the last time we all looked at it together. It is a method for connecting to a heart rate service of your choice and plugging that information into VTube Studio. You can see right now I'm actually connected. I've got a stellar heart rate, which I think is probably higher than accurate, because it doesn't feel like I have a resting 100 heart rate, but we'll see. I'm certainly a little flushed because I haven't streamed in a while. And so with the way this app works is you input what you believe your resting and highest expected heart rate is. You can then specify some colors and color matchers to apply to different parts of your model. And then as your heart rate fluctuates, the color on your model will do so as well. So like for example, we've got our little slider here to demonstrate. I was using pulsoid right now, and I'll talk about pulsoid in a little bit. But like for an example, I've got my minimum expected to 70, which is apparently much lower than my actual minimum, or my actual resting. Maximum is 100, so as I slide my heart rate up, you can see that my face gets more and more flushed, up to a maximum amount. That's pretty much all I want this plugin to do, is to be an interface for heart rate monitors like that. So you can use a slider to demonstrate your stuff. You can connect with Pulsoid, which is the third-party app, which is what I'm using right now. In the next version of this, the second release of this, I want to have the ability to directly connect your Bluetooth device to it. I'm having a lot of difficulty getting that working on Windows, but I know it's possible. So right now it's got third-party applications and a demonstration slider. And like I said, you add your colors, you specify some matchers, and you're pretty much all set. And there's one other cool feature of this plugin that I got working over the break that I can't demonstrate on my own model, but I can demonstrate on one of the VTube Studio default models. Hold on, where's she at? There we go. This is me for right now, I guess. I think this is one of Denshi's like personal model projects. But as you can see, I retain the flushed aspect of it. But if I go into, yeah, right, new look. Yeah, this is my re-debut. I thought the skeleton thing was gaudy. I'm going to be a anime chick with huge breasts now. I think it's really fitting of my whole kind of character. Alright, so what am I trying to do here? It is not create a new character. No, go put that away. It is here. We look at the bottom here. Why is this not going? Huh? It should be going. Oh, that's why. I changed the name of it. So, this app also outputs a set of 3 parameters that you can then use for your VTube Studio model as you see fit. There's heart rate linear, which is just a parameter that scales from 0 to 1 linearly between the minimum and maximum thresholds that you specify. There's a pulse, which is one that is like a sine wave that increases in frequency approximately with the increase between minimum and maximum of your thresholds. And then there's pulse real time, which is the actual exact rate of your heart. This is going at however many beats per minute, cycles per minute of your heart. And so, like, for example, I can connect that to, yeah, let me close that. I can connect that to what am I saying? I lost my train of thought already while closing the model. Yeah, so I can connect that to the breathing parameter for this model. And so as I decrease my, I'll use the slider for this. as I decrease my heart rate, you can see she breathes like a normal amount, maybe a little bit fast, a little bit heavy. And then as I crank this all the way up, the breathing parameter accelerates noticeably. So that's the third thing that this app can do. Yeah, so you get the heavy breathing. But yeah, it's neat, right? That's seriously cool. Thank you. Also, welcome, first-time chatter. Raps, perhaps? I think is that how you say that? I would assume because it rhymes. Welcome aboard the Skeleton crew here. I typically do streaming programming streams like this every Saturday at approximately this time. So if you like what you see, please feel free to stick around. I would implore you to stay. Yep, thank you. One other thing I had... Oh yeah, okay, so I've got a to-do list for tonight before I think this is essentially ready to be deployed, more or less, in terms of stuff I can work on stream. Because there's some of it that is like security stuff, and I don't want to mess around with in case I accidentally flash a credential or two for my third-party integrations. Like, for example, I work with Pulsoid here. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm a Unity app developer making streaming apps and stuff, so seeing you had a Unity plugin for VTube Studio was right up my alley. Not only that, my man, or woman, I actually don't know what gender you'd prefer to be, or what pronoun you'd prefer to use, but my dear Raps, perhaps. I maintain the library for building Unity apps that connect to VTube Studio. If you want to check it out, I will pull it up actually right now. Hold on. Where is my... I have to find a browser. Properties. New window. Chrome. One second, I'm gonna give myself a plug. There we go. Boom. Okay, so we've got this. And if you've ever wanted to build a plugin for VTube Studio, you can use this library, which is also available on the apps, Unity Asset Store, not App Store. It's VTS Sharp. Yeah, it looks like you may have already seen it, but for people who have not, it's this. There should be a version 1.3 coming on the Asset Store any day now. It's already available on my GitHub. It's way more stable. It has port discovery and a couple other things. Yeah, she's going nuts, right? She leans back and forth a lot. I don't really know what's up with her. I don't know why people want their VTubers to lean, but yeah, she's having a moment, and she will continue to have a moment most of tonight. But yeah, so this is the library that I'm using. I built this app partially to dog food my own library here, because I hadn't actually built anything with it. I just built the library and hoped that somebody else would have a really good idea for a thing to build. And I've seen a couple really interesting things so far. One person built a barometer and clock that used a special model that they imported into Live 2D, and so they piped time and weather information into it from Unity, which is pretty cool. Another woman used the library to give herself heterochromia, like tint the eyes separate colors that you can configure through Unity, and both of those made me pretty happy to see. Yeah, I'm making her have a moment. It's true, it's true. So enough about, I guess, about that. We can put that away. And then, as I was saying, this integrates with Pulsoid, which is a third-party app. So I got their good graces to be a developer for their platform. So right now I'm connecting my heart rate monitor through my phone, which has an app called Pulsoid on it, which uploads to their servers, and then I'm able to just hit this checkbox here, because I've got my credential, which you can get through that login button. You're basically all set. Hold on, where's my... There we go. Yeah, so that's how that works. There's also a separate URL you can use for Pulsoid, which is a little bit easier, but they said they're deprecating that. So I'm going to take that away eventually, but for now it works. You can read from a file if you have some other program that outputs heart rate information, and for debugging purposes, most of tonight I'll probably be using this slider. Yeah, so we've got that. So, again, I've got a to-do list of things that I want to do. First thing is, you may notice as I drag this slider back and forth, the breathing is not smooth as we interpolate. Because of the way a sine curve works when you expand it or constrict it, you're going to hit the same value a bunch of times in a row. So I want to try and update the function so that it can be smooth, which should be pretty easy. I think I have a couple ideas for that. And then the second part of it is I want to have a UI for pop-up messages, namely like, do you want to save? Or whenever this app boots up, I have it ping home to my web server to see if there's a newer version available, and I want to have a pop-up that's like, hey, there's a newer version available, here's the link where you can go get it, so that I can deploy this and have people update it without me needing to constantly let everybody know that there's an update. It should just be able to do it itself. So I want a pop-up for that. So, let's start with the sine function, I guess. We're gonna turn this off, and then I will pop up to VS Code. So right now, the sine function for this in my big master class for this is where we have our interpolation value, which is where you are between your minimum and maximum rates, normalized. And then if you're authenticated, it does these pings out to VTube Studio, and we set our real-time values to all these different things. So what I need to do, I think, is only update this value once it's approximately 0 with the new value for what it like. I wish I could draw this easily, but I don't have an easy way to do that. Basically, I only want this to update its sine function when it would be 0. And then it can start a new frequency. And then once that hits 0 again, like its next pulse, it can update again. So that you're not constantly changing mid-curve, if that makes sense. I think that should smooth it out. So I think the way that I need to do this is I would have like a memory of what the current actually, do I even need to? What do I need to do here? Frequency is this, heart rate divided by 60. Oh, I know. I think an easy way I can solve this, actually. This might be like a one-liner. Watch me trying to get too clever. I can do if real-time dot value. Now, this is probably a bad idea because this is a float. What is it? It's going to be like approximately. I could just do like equals 0, though I don't know if we'll ever actually hit that. We do that. Oh, I still need a private variable, actually. I think. Private. And I guess instead of that, it would be like private frequency 0f, like that, I think. So if it's 0, you can set it to that. Otherwise, you do set it to itself. Does that do anything? We're gonna find out. I have a compiler error. Why do I? Oh. Okay. Does that do anything? Let's find out. In my mind, that's saying that when you can only update the frequency once you've come back to 0. Let's see, does that smooth things out? My guess is we're just never going to actually have it hit 0, though. Because you should never do equals operations. Yeah. Okay, so it does not look like the breathing speed is updating at all, ever. Because you should not do equals operations on floats. I forget how you approximately figure it out, though. It's like float dot epsilon, I think. What is it, like if it's less than? I think that's what float epsilon is for. It's like approximately 0. Does that do anything? No. Alright, good to know. Alright, this could be a good case for Stack Overflow, because you'd think I'd know the very basic answer to this question. Is it like math f? Is there a function for this? Approximately? Yeah, that's what it is. True if they are similar. I don't know what the definition of similar here is, but we'll find out. Alright, does that do anything? Also, for folks who are new here, or tuning in because they're interested in this kind of thing, if you have like feature ideas for this that you'd like to see, let me know. Just like comment in the chat, and I will put them in my roadmap. Right now, the next, like I said, the next thing I want to have after this release is the ability to connect directly to your device, and I want to be able to trigger gestures from certain ranges. Like if I hit like 115 beats per minute, I want to have like my smoke coming out of my ears gesture trigger, and when I go back below that heart rate, it would stop. That kind of thing. That'd probably be through the same menu. Alright, so let's see. That does not seem to have done anything either. That's fine. Let's see. Okay, so frequency, we're saying real-time value is half of 1 plus. Hate doing math. I guess the best thing I can do would just be printing out what frequency is. Or what the real-time value is, rather. And I can look at that. This breakpoint's be damned. I don't really want to have to iterate over this every frame. So we hide that. Alright, I definitely see places where it gets very close to 0. I'm not sure why. It's definitely never actually hitting 0. That part is true. But I'm seeing cases where, like, here, it's got 2 leading zeros, which is a lot of zeros to have and not be considered similar to, approximately. Let's look up the unity definition of... Oop, wrong. What the hell did I do here? There we go. There we go, right. What does Unity say mathf approximately is? What does this mean? Within an epsilon of each other. Okay, that's what I was doing manually before. Huh. Huh, 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 huh. Okay. I mean, that doesn't really help, but... I feel like I need to specify... like that, maybe? Oh, actually, no, I don't want approximately. I would just, in this case, I would want values less than that, maybe? Now this feels really finicky, though. In that it could just never trigger, I guess, under certain circumstances. Oh, I don't know what I just did to make Akari's eyeballs wig out. Sorry, Akari, I don't know how your model works. Okay, that doesn't quite seem to have done it. It's a little bit smoother. I guess so. But, like, this is a great example of a gesture that I'd trigger, like, a phenomenally high heart rate when you're, like, almost dead. So it doesn't seem to have quite done it. I still see some stuttering. But it's definitely better than when it was constantly stuttering with every step before. So I guess this is fine. I don't know, this might be good enough for a beta. Yeah, that's probably good enough, honestly. I could probably make the number I'm comparing against even smaller, but not like epsilon tiny, and that might work. That might work. If I make it that small, will it ever trigger? Probably not, right? Wait, that made it worse somehow. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think what we had before was good enough. Though I am worried that it would become frame rate dependent or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, my default model doesn't have a breathing parameter, so in order to demonstrate this, I needed to switch to one of the default VTube Studio models. The heavy breathing effect that I have from my plugin here cannot be replicated on my own model because I do not have a breathing parameter. There you go. Pretty straightforward. I think that's definitely way smoother than it was. So I'll say that's good enough for now. I think. What else? Okay. Unless, I don't know. I'm gonna be like really perfectionist about this, but also I'm very interested in getting this out the door ASAP. So I should not spend too much time on that. Let's remove the debug log, because that's just gonna spam up console. Yeah, okay. And so the other thing I wanted to do was have a like pop-up UI that would be able to tell people important information that they need to know ASAP, regardless of where they are on the menus. Let me hide VS Code again. Boom. So let's, I guess, build that out, and then we can write the script for it. So that's going to be a panel type with like a dark fade. None of this, because we want it to cover the entire thing. can probably do a higher alpha, like 200. UI, secondary panel, panel in panel, buffer in like 10 from each side. It's gonna have full opacity. Maybe that's too much, I don't know. Probably doesn't need to be this big. It could probably be like, that's too much. That is probably acceptable. Maybe. Maybe that's weird because it lines right up with the divider here. I don't know. Maybe even go more. Like that. We can add a drop shadow, which is -2, -2. Just like everything else in the app. The color here will be same gray that I use for everything else. Well, I guess I can go back to not being Akari then. Everybody's gonna get to see my lack of lower body. I did not dig it up out of the coffin today, so we'll just hop me back where I belong. There we go. Much better. This feels a lot more natural. Much better, much better, much better. This is what people came to see anyway. The your boy in the non-flesh. All right. So okay, we have our pop-up. Pop-up. Up. There we go. You're back, yes. Some say I never left. Content. And so basically this is going to plug into, I've got a singleton for my UI management that I could call from any other script, and that will allow me to tell any other object to summon a pop-up. What else do we need in this? We're going to have, where is it? Let's make this a prefab, and we can start working on it in the Prefab Editor. Elements, containers, pop-up. There we go. Like so. We're gonna have another sub panel in this one. Boom, 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 boom. Gonna be anchored to the bottom. This is where I'm gonna have buttons if there needs to be user input. So this will be height 30. And then, what am I trying to do here? Pause Y 10, like that, I think. This will have a layout, horizontal layout group assigned to it. Middle left, spacing of 10. Control child size width. Don't force the height expansion. And then I can, like, pop buttons. Doesn't like that? Why isn't it like that? Huh? Huh? Why isn't it like that? Why is it saying it can't render these? I don't understand. That's why. I don't know why it assigned the height to a negative number, but that's why. Panel. And I can actually just have this on the bottom, I think, and just do like that. Wait. Huh? Why does that looks weird? Why does it have so much more padding on the sides? Why does this have so much more padding on the sides? Why isn't there ever a simple answer to anything in Unity? Is this something I did just now? Okay. Huh? Is this like some weird aspect ratio thing? That I'm just not grokking with? I don't understand. There's no offset applied over here. I mean, we can do that. And I don't need that, and that looks correct. So why was it like that before? Oh well. Good enough. We want to remove the image from the backing panel here. So then you can have your buttons. So I will have this have a invocation method where you can specify X number of buttons and they'll be able to do stuff. And then we need our text content. So let's do text and content here. This is going to be anchored to the top, like so. One. This will be centered, like so. Bigger text, like so. 10. Title, like so. And then, alright, so this will be title. This will be text body. Why is the UI doing that? Nobody ever knows. It's, like I said, there's never a simple answer for any of this. So this we want to stretch to the whole thing. I'm pretty sure. 25. Like so. From the bottom we're gonna be 40? 50 up? I'm probably also doing some very non-best practices because I'm manually setting these offsets. But it is what it is. And I guess I want this to be like justified top and then size 14. Maybe I should just do best fit font size. I don't know. For now, let's get our lorem ipsum. Another thing I'm not looking forward to going over is I've got a localization library that I wrote a while ago that I'm going to try and pop into here at some point so that I can have this translated into Japanese, because I think that there will be a non-trivial number of people who I know who are not fluent in English that would like to use this. But I got to make sure all my UI is like capable of fitting Japanese text, which I'm not certain that it is right now. Alright, this is good enough for me. Maybe it needs more padding on the sides. I don't know. All of my other UI stuff has a padding of 10, which is why I was using those numbers. But it does kind of seem weird to have the text go quite so close to the edge. I don't know. It's probably fine. So, that's good enough for me. For a version 1. Let's... yeah, it's good enough for me. I could add like a oh, sorry, I just inhaled a hair. Oh, that's like stuck in my throat now. Awesome. I could add a size fitter to this and make it scale with the amount of text that it has later, but that's boring. I'd rather do the programming part instead of the visual scripting part right now. Let's see, we've got our modules, or elements. I forget how I sorted all this stuff. Alright, we're gonna do pop-up. And now we can go back to VS Code, where we belong, using Unity. Raps perhaps. You mentioned that you're an app developer. Tell me about the kind of stuff that you make, if you're able to, if you're like not under NDA. Because this is going to be me being like in the zone TM for like a little bit. So I'm interested to hear from you, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot like that. Clearly you can see what I'm up to, so. Why did my phone just buzz? Where is my phone? There we go. Who's buzzing me? Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. Thank you. I appreciate the being obliged. So we will have our private text title. I got my MFA in game design, so I've done a thesis game that I don't want to directly connect to my internet persona. That's fine, I'm not going to make you. I just finished releasing a simple streaming overlay earlier this week. Hell yeah! We'd love to hear it. That's awesome. I wish you the best in your foray into the bold frontier of virtual tubing. That's really exciting. And congratulations on getting in it on MFA. That shit's hard. I have a minor in interactive media and game design, and I don't really get to use it professionally very much at all, but it did teach me a bunch of things about gamification and thinking about user experience and things like that. Lets you connect to Twitch stuff like subs, redeems, follows, etc. Dropping items onto your stream. Flood the stream with whatever items the streamer wants. There's a big demand for that. That's one of the most requested things that people talk about in the VTube Studio Discord. Is the ability to throw shit at the streamer. And I agree, I definitely want to have shit thrown at me. When I enable affiliate sometime later this month or this season, one of the redeems I want is to be able to have people to throw bones at my skull and have them bounce off and make a nice satisfying thwack. So I will look into that. Throwing is important. Being able to hit your puppet with a object of your choice is good. And like I said, a lot of people are asking for it. Content is null. Private. I need to do using input tools. That's my own namespace. Extended button prefab. There we go. Private rect transform button parent. There we go. I think that's what we need. Okay. Putting the token to VTube Studio for my next major release for the stuff so that can optionally bounce off models 2 when it fills. I think it'd be really funny. Are you in the VTube Studio Discord? Because if not, you should totally join. It's public, so I don't need to send you an invite or nothing. If you just do the discovery function of VTube Discord, you can find it. You should join. I highly recommend it. That is one of the things that people ask or talk about very frequently, is having the ability to throw shit at models. So you'd be in good company. And you can get the latest scoop from Denshi himself whenever he's about to do a beta release or API development stuff there. It's a good place to hang out. And the stickers are really good if you have Nitro. You can use them all over the place. He has a couple of Pecora stickers that are very applicable. Insider info. I mean, it's not secret or anything. It's a public server. But he talks about development very transparently in his server. So I would recommend checking it out, since you seem interested in this kind of thing. Okay, so we've got our title and content, we have our button prefab, and then our parent. So that's all well and good. I don't think we need anything on the update loop here. we're gonna have a function, void set show. We're gonna have a show, void hide, and a hide. Nice, awesome. Happy to see you there. I'll greet you in there when I'm done streaming. Give you the big wave. Alright, so in show, we're going to have a string title, string body, and then params. I'm gonna need to make a like a struct for this. Let's do that, I guess, in here. Public struct pop. I guess calling it pop-up options is kind of redundant because it's in the pop-up namespace. But what I want to basically do here is you be able to pass in a list of buttons, and you'd be able to have them just auto-populate. So like when you call show, you say, here's the title of the pop-up, here's the body, and then option 1 will do this, and it looks like this, and it says this. Option 2 will look like this, and all of that, etc., etc. Okay, so this is going to have a public string text, public color, public system.action, callback, and then we'll do public. There's probably an autogen option in VS Code, but I am a Luddite. String text, color, system.action, callback. This text is text. This color. This callback equals callback. And so then we can do like so. Params means you can specify an infinite series of additional parameters, as many or as few as you want. So you can do something like this. This dot title text title. This dot body content body, and then for each of these. Why is it not like? Oh, sorry. Content.text. Tiberius, what's up? How's it going? How's the Pokemon hustle and grind? That's the most recent thing I know about you, so I'm gonna act like I've got my finger on the pulse, pun intended. What is up, Professor Tiberius? Hello. For folks who don't know, Professor Tiberius is also a programming type VTuber, code type generator. He made a web interface for doing a lot of the color customization stuff that is hot in the scene right now, using, I think, Hawkbar, who is yet another techie VTuber, using Hawkbar's JavaScript implementation of the VTube Studio API. So give Professor Tiberius a check when you've got time. He's on Twitter with the same name. And I believe Twitch, obviously, right here. He streams a bunch, too. Last he was doing was Pokemon, I think. So, yeah, that's what I know about this guy. He's cool. They announced the rule set for Worlds. Yeah, I mean, VGC is what I live for Pokemon. I don't give singles or, like, Smogons tiers much mind at all because I don't really think singles is engaging in the same way. But I adore the doubles format for VGC, specifically the fact that you bring 6 and pick 4. I think that adds a lot of space. But yeah, tell me about the rule set for Worlds. I'm interested, even if it is singles. Tell me all about it. We're gonna do button, or this is going to be extended button equals instantiate this stuff. Button prefab 3.0 doubles to see. My least favorite thing about VGC though is when they start letting you use the legendaries or yeah, typically that. I think VGC is at its best right when a new game comes out, and it's just like whatever you can catch, no mythicals, no legendaries, because then people do the really weird niche things, and I think a lot of discovery happens, and you find Pokemon that would otherwise be overlooked. They find interesting niches, or people find interesting strategies with them. But as soon as you allow legendaries and legendaries from past generations, people just pick the Groudons and the Kyogres because they're very strong, and their numbers can brute force most things. And so you don't need to have like weird optimized strategies. 0. That's my opinion, though. It's still all fun to watch. I'm just tired of Landorus. I don't want to see Landorus ever again. Vector 3.0, Quaternion.identity, and then I think it's this button parent. I don't remember where that goes in the sequence. Oh, apparently that's right. Nice. Yeah, I mean, Incineroar, whatever. Like, Incineroar is not a legendary, so I'll live with it. Incineroar is very good, but it's ultimately not a legendary. I'm sick of Landorus, though. Too strong. Like, unless you have Ice Beam, you just lose. I don't think that's enjoyable. I definitely think VGC is at its best when you just have to use standard issue Pokemon and figure out what weird combination of shit nobody's seen before turns out to be optimal for your specific needs. Like, in Gen 7, right when Gen 7 came out, I ran a team that led with Sharpedo and Slowpoke, and it was very good. I got on the ladder for Smogon, on Showdown rather, for VGC with that team. It was, my team was Sharpedo, Slowpoke, Torkoal, Gastrodon, Littlegant, and I don't remember the 6th one. Yeah, like the Pachirisu and Garchomp combo, that's like an excellent example. Like, nobody would use Pachirisu if they could just use Landorus or like Zapdos or whatever. Because like, why would you? But like, you find this this Pokemon that like has this nice type combination, learns this weird niche move that you need to pull it all together, has an ability that's like not well guarded against, that kind of thing. Anyway, the VGC team that I had in Gen 7 before Legendaries were allowed was really, really powerful. It hinged on getting a 2-turn setup for Trick Room using Z Destiny Bond on Sharpedo, which very few people remember Sharpedo can learn. So you draw attention to yourself with the Z move for Destiny Bond, which applies a Follow Me to yourself and then does Destiny Bond. Sharpedo is like the fastest thing in the meta after 1 turn of speed boost. This would draw both attacks typically and kill at least 1 sweeper on the 1st or 2nd turn. And that would give Slowpoke a free turn to set up Trick Room. Then, because Sharpedo is dead, you could freely switch in either Gastrodon or Torkoal. Torkoal was packing a weakness policy, and from then on out, Slowpoke would just use the world's weakest Splash. This would hit Torkoal for super effective and do like 2 damage because it's sunny out, and Slowpoke has like no special attack, which would instantly double Torkoal's special attack. And then Torkoal would use Eruption, which is a 150 base power move, which gets same type attack bonus and gets Sun bonus. And this was typically enough to close out the game in two more turns, basically. Eruption also hits both opponents. So unless they were very, very ready for this, or had some way to interrupt my Trick Room, I could pretty quickly dispatch people. And if that doesn't work, I could choose Gastrodon, who has Storm Drain, can absorb Surf, and gain 1 level special attack every turn that Slowpoke used Surf as well. And if neither of those work, I could lead with Littlegant and Torkoal. Littlegant has double speed in Sun and can learn after you, which would mean that the target moves immediately following the user. So I would just have double speed in Sun because of Torkoal. Torkoal summons Sun when it gets sent out. And then I would just say Torkoal after you, and it would use Eruption faster than anything could react to it. So that was like my gambit for Gen 7, and they introduced a bunch of legendaries who could just brick wall through all that stuff, punch through faster, etc., etc. Yeah, I could talk about this all day. I might do a Pokemon Showdown stream at some point when I like have nothing better to do, which is never. I like my hands aren't even on the keyboard right now. I just stopped typing to talk about Pokemon. Yeah. I should do a VGC Showdown stream sometime. I never found a good gimmick for Gen 8. Like, I don't know, nothing clicked with me really. There's like a lot of stuff to consider. But I love Torkoal. I want to find a way to use Slowpoke and Torkoal on whatever team I can, because it's such a weird power combo. Speed is dynamic now in Gen 8. Yeah. So if you get slowed like mid-turn, it actually yeah, I know how that works. It's weird. It's a weird thing to think about, and I feel like it doesn't come up very often, or as much as you might think, but it does. Anyway, let me put my hands back on the keyboard so I can actually do my programming on my programming stream. Alright, so we're going to make a button. Then we're going to do button.get component in children. Not the best way to do it, but I don't feel like making accessors. Text. Text equals option dot text button. I'm not going to bother setting the color right now, but I'll be able to later. On pointer up. Add listener. This should be option callback. Oh, boo. This should be able to cast instantly, but it doesn't. No. Stop. There we go. Yeah. I mean, I played a lot of Gen 8 VGC, just nothing clicked with me. The thing I ended up settling on as my core was I would have Bronzor, whichever the unevolved one is, with Eviolite, and Dragalge. And I would use, I'd get Trick Room set up through some way from Bronzor. It would have, its moves would be Trick Room, Ally Switch, Bulldoze, and I don't remember what the fourth move was. Maybe Protect, though I don't know why. And it would be the same gimmick as with the Torkoal, where you hit your ally for super effective with the weakest attack you know. This triggers a weakness policy, and then they just go apeshit. I think that's like a really, really powerful combo. But yeah, basically you'd set up Trick Room, you'd use Bulldoze, which lowers the speed of everybody that gets hit, so now your ally is even slower in Trick Room. You've just triggered a weakness policy to double their attack, and then you can use Sludge Wave, which hits both opponents, and it's similar to the Eruption gimmick. I like that a lot. It was very powerful versus the prevalence of fairies in Gen 8. Nobody expects it, and Ally Switch is very, very funny. That's what it boils down to. Okay, so we can do this. We can call show, and then we probably want to do like this dot set active. Like that. Like so. Alright, so this should be good. When you call show, you can specify title body, large number of options if you need to have multiple things to click on. Yeah, you joined like while I was in code mode here, so you haven't actually seen any of it in action. But I was messing around with Akari before because she's got a breathing parameter. Let me show you where we're at right now with this. Pay no attention to the VTuber behind the curtain. 1 second. Akari, you're coming back out. So here we've got Denshi's wonderful little child. We're going to make this pop up high for a second. I'm going to pop this up. Oh, and I can close the UI. Okay. Yeah, so, and hide VS Code. So here's what it looks like. It's a very, very Spartan UI, but, I mean, it's just got to be functional, right? So you can connect to, like, Pulsoid, or you can use your debug slider or whatever. I'm going to use the debug slider here. It shows what your active heart rate is. You can specify a bunch of color matchers, like what your website does, but this basically interpolates between transparent and your color, depending on where your current heart rate sits along this range that you can specify. So as I enter the range of where I'm at, like I'm now at like 90 beats per minute, getting closer and closer to 100, you can see her face gets flushed, and the breathing parameter should, did I like, increase, so she's like breathing more heavily. I still gotta smooth that out a bit better. I don't know. The approach that I tried on stream didn't work super well. Yeah, as this goes up and up and up, breathing gets heavier and heavier and heavier. Hopefully you never hit 195 beats per minute on stream, but it is what it is. That's pretty much what this is going to do. And then for version 2, I'm going to have the ability to trigger gestures from here as well. So like, say, when I hit 115 beats per minute, you're going to see some serious shit. I'll like have a thing in here that's like threshold, and then the gesture to trigger, so I could have like smoke coming out of my ears. Oh, see ya, Fuba. That was brief, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Alright, so that's what this plugin can do. It sends out a bunch of parameters, can do color matching, etc., etc. That's enough out of you, Akari. Let's put myself back. And then pay no attention to my lack of arms. It's fine. There we go. And don't mind me being flushed despite not having flesh. Okay, so back to where we were with this pop-up thing. We're going to add pop-up. We've got our title. We've got our content. We have our thing here. And then we've got our elements. Oh, I need to go to prefabs. Elements. Button. No, stop. Like so. One other thing I need to do is make this clear the children out of the body of the, I'm gonna do, reach, transform, child in this button parent. A fun thing about Unity is that transforms are actually iterable objects. They don't teach you this in Unity school, but you can just do this. You can iterate over the transform, and it will give you all of its children. I don't know why, but it's very helpful. And then we're going to do destroy child.game. So we're clearing that out. It is cool. I don't know the correct way to actually get every child of a parent of a transform, but this is always how I do it. You can just iterate over them. It is an iterable thing. You can do a for loop also. Okay. So we have that. Boom. So now we've got this. It should destroy these buttons so they never actually do anything. Now I'm going to go to my UI manager, which is a singleton that I've built. We are going to have serialized field, private, pop, up, and then, how do I want to do this? I guess I would just basically copy these signatures. Not a lot going on here, which is good. We have public, show, pop up, dot pop up options. This will be this dot pop up dot show title body options. Easy. And then public void hide pop up. Hide. Easy. Sweet. Hide VS Code. So the main thing I want this pop-up system for is that I have it ping my web server every time it boots up. So I want to be able to inform people if there's a new version, because I expect that there will be a new version very frequently. And unlike your wonderful web app, which you can just update and deploy and anybody who's using it will automatically get the update, because this is a Unity desktop application, once it's out there, it's standalone, and I do mean standalone. So there's no real good way to roll out updates other than letting people know, hey, there's an update, you should probably download it. So I got to build that into version 1 before I release, or else like the whole thing collapses. If the first version of this ships without a way to notify people that there's a second version, that's very, very bad for user experience and for me. So this is very important that I get this working. I already have the part where it pings home and checks the version working. I just need a way to show that to the user. That's my plan right now. Okay, so I've got my UI manager. We have our pop-up. I think what I want to do is one thing I need to do is make it so if you click on the not pop-up space, it like goes away, I think. Or maybe one of the buttons should just always be closed. I'm not sure. Or there should just be like an X button up here. That's probably what it is. There should be a button up here that's like an X. Let's do that. Let's pad this a little bit more. Let's do like 50, 50. Boom. Other than Pokemon, Tiberius, you been up to anything exciting lately? You programming anything? Doing anything nice for the holiday? I'm doing the VTuber thing where I'm putting the burden of conversation onto you, the viewer, instead of onto me, the guy who's trying to think about code right now. Unless you're also trying to think about code right now. In which case, I apologize. 30. Oh wait, no, I don't want this to stretch. I want this to be here. 30. How's the weather? That's my conversation. Nice. Over here, it's actually not too bad. It's like a little bit above freezing. It was very foggy today. A little bit rainy. I wish it were snowing. It kind of makes me feel doom and gloom about the climate that it hasn't snowed a whole bunch. Working on an update for your plugin. It's everybody's doing plugins. It's Saturday night, baby. It's plugin time. All right, this button. It's gonna have an X on it. That's fine. I think people will understand what the X means. Probably shouldn't be green. Now I think I need to release a beta version of the site. Too many people using it to risk breaking. Yeah, you gotta do like a non-prod deploy, right? That's the scary shit. Like, I've had this problem with my library, right? Because like, I think it works for me, and then I find something that's like horrible about it, and I worry that I've just broken it for a bunch of people. But I best I can do there is feature branches. But for like a deployable like that, I don't know how you do it, other than having just 2 instances, and one of them is like locked behind a password for yourself. But truly, you never find stuff out until it goes to prod. Okay, so we have a close button. Let's add that to our script here. Pop up. Oh, shit. So, for those who don't follow me on Twitter, which I'm not sure if that's anybody currently in the chat, because I do recognize most of you folks. My partner Bon here, who's also a techie-type VTuber, though she does, like, handicraft, has been building the LEGO World Map kit, which we bought right before New Year's, which is a 11,000-piece LEGO set that is almost entirely composed of 1x1 flat tiles. It's pixel art via LEGO. And she's entered the strange mood portion of the build process, like in Dwarf Fortress, where she will not engage in any activity that does not directly contribute to finishing this map. She is almost done, I think. And yeah, she says she's modding. Oh, no, it's not Risk. Yeah, it's a Lego set. It's just an infinite number of these tiny little flat tiles to do pixel art by hand, basically. But she's very close. She's done more than me, which is weird because I think of myself as like the big Lego enjoyer, while she's the Gunpla enthusiast. But this is not any of the reason I ever play with Lego or build with Lego. It's very mechanical, very little creative input. It's like you're doing pixel art. You're just following instructions mechanically, tile after tile after tile. It's the same thing. There's no interesting build, concepts or mechanical mechanisms. It's just put down the tiles over and over again. So I didn't really enjoy it. But she's just going for it, which is crazy. And yeah, like I think if you understand the Dwarf Fortress reference, I think you understand what I mean when I say she's in a strange mood. She's like, one day she woke up and she's like, I have to finish this map, and she will do that until she starves. That's the behavior I'm seeing right now, and I don't like it, but it's what's happening. Close button on, pointer up. So, I was a Toys R Us manager many moons ago. Lego customers were always nice. I can one-up you. I used to be a Lego retail clerk for the Lego store, like the Lego wholesale direct outlet. That was like 4 years of my life, I think, before I got into software engineering. And yeah, they're really nice except for when they aren't. Nothing beats helping like a little kid find a kit that they're really enthusiastic about, or recommending something to parents, like getting their kids hooked on Duplo really early to facilitate the engineer part of their brain. But boy, when the people are nasty, they're nasty. Because they'll get like people who are older than I am, people in their like 50s and 60s, who show up and feel very entitled to their very expensive luxury toy that comes in very limited quantities. Like the story I always tell is one of the last big products that came out before I stopped working there was the Disney Castle, and we got like 5 of them to sell because they're like a $300 kit that is expensive and takes up a lot of shelf space in the storeroom, and it is what it is, right? And there's like artificial scarcity that plays into it as well. And so it's first come, first serve. Lego store policies that we do not do holds. Basically full stop. You cannot reserve an item in advance. It is get the item when you get there, otherwise you get scalpers. And yet we would still have people who drive in from out of state and scream their head off when we didn't have their very expensive $300 toy ready to go for them. Drives me up the wall. But I don't work there anymore. And I think the good definitely outweighed the bad, and I really did enjoy working there as far as retail went. Yeah, I guess the princess one, it's like the Cinderella castle, right? Like, it's the Disney castle. I don't know actually that much about Disney. But it was like the big, like, 4, grown-up type kit where it's very big. Has a lot of, like, decorated rooms on the inside. You could open it like a vignette. Very popular. Everybody loves Disney. Everybody loves Lego. But, boy, the people who wanted it really felt entitled to this toy. And she's like, my man, it's a luxury product. It's a toy. Just chill. We had 5 of them, and they sold because people love Disney. We'll make more. Please try the online shop. I promise it's fine. But yeah, no, like, helping kids find toys that they're excited about, getting parents sold on the concept of, like, Duplo as a gateway to engineering, made the job super worth it. And my one talent when I worked there was the little minifigure blind bags. I was an oracle for figuring out which minifigure was in each of those bags. People, when we didn't have, like, a ton of customers and I could afford to help an individual for a very long time, I would sit there for as long as it took to feel out what minifigure was in an individual bag to get the people the one they wanted, which, does very good on employee reviews or customer surveys. That was what it was all about. I could easily intuit based on feel which character from the series was out for each of them. Yeah. I don't have any specific ones off the top of my head that I was like, I remember this time, but that was my great talent at retail, was figuring those out. Tiberius, you and I have more in common than I originally thought. That's nice to see. You seem like a cool guy. I'm glad to have met you. Let's see. Makes me bad for the kids that had their hearts set on building the castle, and just grumpy old people bought them all. Yeah, for the most part, they went to people who wanted them, but you get people who are very entitled. I just started blushing, and it's very funny because I didn't mean to do it. I have that set up to a hand gesture that I guess I did by accident because I'm always talking with my hands. But I think that's an opportune time. I was being very sentimental. Enough with that. No more blushing. This is a serious stream for serious people. What am I doing here? It seems intense. Yeah, no, I was just waving my hands in front of my face because I'm very Italian and I was talking and not typing. I have my blush gesture set up to the A-OK hand recognition thing from the new VTube Studio hand recognition system. I think this is the close button. Yeah. Alright, close button. So if I don't hide this right away, and I leave this open, let's see, does this work? Yeah. There we go. So if I click this little X, okay, cool, it just goes away. I'll make that fade in a second. That's step 2. That works. Cool, okay. So now I need to try calling this. So, the best way to do that would be the actual use case I have this for. Where is my... Those are inputs. Networking. No, wait, that's my BTS core. Network. Where did I put this? Hold on. Version. I'm sure that'll find like a million. Okay. Check version. Oh, it's just in the singleton for this. Okay, weird. That's not where I should put it. So I've got my check version, and it does a coroutine for the web request. And then it's going to do a compare. Newer version needed. Okay. So we're going to do if. So this function returns true if the remote version is newer. We're going to say if that. Then we're going to do UI manager instance show pop-up. So we'll do... At some point, all these hard-coded strings are going to need to be localized strings as well. New version available. Newer version of this plugin is now available. And then what's it like that? I think is the thing that they don't teach you in programming schools. The hardest thing to remember is the different formatting rules for each language for strings. Your version. Whatever. So like in JavaScript, it's super easy, and I love string interpolation in JavaScript. But in Java and C#, I can never remember. No, that's what I'm saying. They don't teach you that in programming school. God, no. I get this shit wrong constantly. What is it? It's info.url. And then new pop-up option. I mean, I'm sure it's been on exams, but like they don't impress it on you. I'm sure for like the Java class, they're like, how do you format a string in Java? But nobody fucking remembers that shit. I don't know. Color.white. I'll come back to that later. I'll mark that as a to-do. And then the callback is this. application.openurl info.url. Boom. Huh? What did I do wrong? Yeah, Unity's a weird bastard program. I like it because I'm used to it, but it's weird. I always just use the $sign before the string and the variable name, but I had forgotten that there was a thing for years. Yeah, it's like in JavaScript, you can just do like this. Hello. And then $sign bracket variable name. And I love it, and you can just do that, and you don't have to call format function or anything, it just knows. In C#, it's brace 0, 1, 2, whatever for the argument number. In Java, I don't remember. They're all different, and I always get them wrong. I always forget the number in C#, because you have to specify. Because you could, like, have... I don't know why you'd do this. I guess it's because you could have the same variable injected multiple places. But you could do, like, 1, and then 0, and then... So it would do your second argument here, and your first argument here. I guess it makes sense. It's weird, though. It's not intuitive. What is it complaining about? I don't understand. Cannot use compare version declared in a top-level statement in this context. Why? Why not? What's wrong? I was using it before. It must be a closing bracket. I'm missing somewhere. Okay, so we've got our if statement. Parens line up. Also, like, this was fine 2 seconds ago. Yeah, the format, yeah. That's my localization library that I'm gonna pop in here at some point. Does the Java, I think, method where you have like a token that indicates you can do a replacement, and then you do a variable name in the thing. And I can do another stream about that some other day. Okay, so let's see. Brace. And so we're saying if this is true, show pop-up. And our first argument is here. Second argument is here. Third argument is here. Because it's a params argument. This then has 3 arguments. Download this, and then the callback. Oh, wait. Just need that. And that. There we go. Too many things. Okay. So this is kind of a weird nested, like a inline function into... This looks like JavaScript, I think, but that's fine. I think this is the most intuitive way to make menus happen in Unity. So we've got a coroutine, get request on success. It compares the version that it gets back. Then we do our version check. It'll make the pop-up happen, and then we can specify the callback for the individual buttons in line. So you could give it like a bunch of pop-up options in a list here, and you could specify what each one of them does totally in line like this. So like if you wanted to have like a nested menu following this pattern, you could have a button that does that, then again calls like so on and so forth. So like this would make a button that when you click it opens another page for the pop-up with a new set of dialog options, and you could just chain this all the way down. like forever. This is a menu practice that I've used in a couple other projects that have not really made it out the door, but I think conceptually it's very good and makes sense for the developer. So I will continue to use that. Okay, so now what I need to do to test this is I need to make my what was that? Version, build settings, player settings. Version for this really low, so that it's lower than whatever is on my remote. So we're going to set this to... Oh, interesting. The pop-ups for the build settings and player settings don't seem to show up. If I dock this, will it show up? There we go. Okay, project settings. So I set the version all the way to 0.1 here. So now if I boot this up, it says I'm up to date. That's probably not good. Hold on. Let me check what I've got on my remote. Where are you? Ah, 0.0.1 is the version that I've specified on the remote. Let me try 000. Everybody's favorite version number. That's definitely real. There we go. New version. A new version of this plugin is now available. You can download it at the URL, but there should be a button here. I can also probably format this a little better. I think I want to add more padding to the content here. It looks weird being so close to the edge, even though that's how every other menu element here is. Oh, thank you. Have an enjoyable meal, Tiberius, and best of luck with Pokemon, and with updating your plugin. Thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. So, bonus era, have a good evening. Okay. Why didn't this make a button? It did make a button. I just clicked something invisible, and it... Hold on. I just clicked where the button should be, and it opened the URL like I expected. What the fuck is going on here? Panel... Button. Ah! I see. It's setting the button height to -20, like what happened when we manually put it there. If I make it like that, we can see the button again. Interesting. Okay. Well... Huh. Invisible... Well, now I know why, but I don't know why the... That's like that. Is the button prefab set to be like height -20? No. That's annoying. Why would it do that? The button is set to stretch to its container. Which is probably fine. Hold on, I'm gonna... make a new... Oh my god. Make a new prefab based on this. Pop-up button. There we go. I guess it's a variant. Sure. And then, so what does this look like if I open this here? Okay, now it's just got the height 30. That's what I want. So, I'm guessing that's what the issue was. Jesus. Like that. Let's go to here. Specify that we want the pop-up button prefab variant. And there we go. Now it's good. So I can click that to say, no, I don't care. And then it will remind me next time I boot up. We've got port discovery, working in the new version of my library. You can open your logs and your save data from here. Specify your colors. You've got your inputs. Good stuff. We're like precariously close to being able to release this into the wild, I feel like. in terms of a version 1. Getting the pop-up to let people know that there's a new version is very important to me. The other thing I wanted to have with the pop-up is have a little button in the corner of each of these that's like a question mark that you could click on to read about like what this is meant to do. Like, what the fuck is pulsoid? I don't know. A lot of people probably don't know. What am I meant to put in here? What is this for? What does this do? So I wanted to have like a little button that would explain each of these things that would be displayed on a pop-up as well. But I'm not going to sit here and write text for all of that. The concept of getting the pop-up worked, so I'll do that part off stream. I don't think it's particularly engaging. Okay. One other thing I guess I can do. I think. I did this somewhere and I don't remember where. I think I can do this. Actually, let me save this first before I start messing with more stuff. I'm going to try and make this pop-up scale to the amount of text it has. Because right now when it has just like a tiny little amount of text, having this giant big blocking pop-up seems weird. So let's save this to Git first. There we go. Okay, so now I think I can do text body. I think if I add the component content size fitter. Never mind, it doesn't like that. There's definitely a way to do it. But that was not the way. I thought if I added... Oh wait, that might do it. I think that did do it. I also just realized how like small this is to look at in Unity's end. Okay, so we've got this is like anchored to the bottom. So then if I do this whole thing as a content size fitter, not quite what I expected. Why? Why would it do that? That's bad. This is another case of like Unity, what the hell are you doing? So I added a content size fitter. I told vertical size to try and shrink to as much as possible, and it's like, got it, 0. You wanted 0. But I don't see why it would do that, because there's content here that has a height, and here that has a height, and here that has a height. But it's just like, got it. We want nothing. Why? Why? I'm scientist baffled. Have your children set to fill the whole size. Like a stretch, you mean? But it's got a height, though. It's the width I can get if it's, like, confused, but the height... There's a height here. I don't get what I just did. I'm glad I saved to Git first. UI formatting is always a pain. I definitely prefer HTML, CSS to this. Yeah. Like, there's stuff with actual height. And I use this size fitter for, like, all of my other UI elements. So I'm not sure why here it's suddenly, like, got it, nothing. Let's do 200. Also, why is my text like anchored to the bottom like this? What? 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 Okay, so I'm clicking on the justify. Center. Cool, looks good. Bottom, or top, goes to the bottom. Bottom goes to... What the fuck is going on here? I'm so confused. Preferred size? Maybe that's what I should have been doing this whole time? Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Preferred size. Position Y. 30. Minus 30. This is going to have its pivot at the top. Minus 50. Like that. And then... Wait, so then if I do this... No, okay. It doesn't expand its container, though. Why? 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 I don't understand. So now I can get my text to have the right size. Like, that scales the physical text object. But that's not causing the parent... Oh, wait, because I said it's unconstrained. I am utterly confused by this. Because I definitely use the same... same class in a bunch of... same component in a bunch of other stuff. Like, all of these. If I open up, like, my Pulsoid input module, the top level thing here is a content size fitter with a vertical fit of minimum size. And if I, like, add new content to this, it scales like you'd expect. What the fuck happened with this pop-up? Where did it go? Alright, let's try this. We're gonna add a vertical layout group. Ah, so it likes that, though. It likes when I add a vertical layout group. Boom, boom. Alright, come back. Content. It likes that. Okay. Which means... game object, UI. Okay. We're back in business, I got it. It needs the layout group, I guess, to manage that stuff as well. That's okay. Height is 30. This will have the title in it, and the X button. Where did it go? Okay, I'm confused again. Title. Oh, that's why. Title, sure? Button. Width is 30. Now all my shit's lost, though. Like, I don't remember where to position this. Oops. Alright, so like approximately over here. And then can I do... on my top level, spacing of 10, left padding of 10, 10, 10, 10? Like that. And then I can put my button back where it belongs, maybe. That. Nice that it snaps in place. This no longer needs the left and right padding because it inherits that from its parent. There we go. Okay. There we go. It's like looking like a normal UI again. Title. It's gonna be 330. I think. We just do that. Is that fine? Oh, actually, no, I just want to make this stretch. I can do that because it's a child again. What am I doing here? 30? 30? 40? 40, something like that? Yeah, that's good enough. Title. We have our content there. Our button goes there. Alright. This should look good now, I think. There we go. New version. A newer version of the plugin is available. You can download it at, and there's the URL with a button. I click on it, and you can't see it, but it does in fact go to the specified URL, which is pretty cool. Sorry for literally being silent and like touching UI. That feels like bad airtime, but I don't know. So what did I learn just now? It seems like the content fitter is very dependent on there also being a layout manager on said thing that it's trying to fit, because I guess that controls sizing of the children that it then reads. I don't know why, but that seems to be how it works. And so once I added that, the way this is set up is it's a rectangle with a vertical layout group, and then some of the items in that vertical layout group themselves are horizontal layout group havers. So like you could have multiple buttons down here because they're in a horizontal layout group, and that's how that works. Cool. So then I can click on the X there to make it go away, and we're like all set. Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to try and improve myself with via streaming programming like this is getting good at talking about like my thought process and design goals and communicating technical ideas in a way that's not inherently appealing to only programmers. So I do want to kind of try and run my mouth while I'm doing this, but it doesn't always pan out like that. Yeah, like it's a personal aspiration of mine to be able to communicate this stuff as I'm processing it. The really heavy stuff, though, I definitely do off stream for that exact reason, because I cannot intelligently explain why I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do. Like the actual connecting directly to Bluetooth, that's so far in the weeds that I don't think I can make it entertaining, and a lot of it's just me staring, reading charts. So I'm not gonna try and do that on air, because it's just not fun for anybody. But this is good, I think. This is good. I feel like so the next thing would be having about buttons here. And I think that's like it for what I need for a release. So I think I'm good. I don't know if I want to call the stream there. It's kind of early. It's actually not that late. I usually go for like 2 or 2.5 hours when I do the Saturday night programming things. But I don't have much more I want to accomplish before this is like ready to go, I don't think. The last thing, like I said, is just writing a tooltip, set of tooltips, which I don't really want to be spending stream time doing because it's just dead air of me writing like text strings. So I will do that off stream tonight. But I know I'll be back tomorrow at earlier than 7, maybe around 6. I've gotten multiple requests to do this earlier. On Sundays, I do a cooking stream. I do my annual, or not annual, why did I say annual? I do my bi-monthly, or bi-weekly, every other week. On Sundays, I do what's called Pizzatsudan. It is a combination pizza cooking and Zatsudan stream. I will start the stream by going over the steps for making pizza dough. While the dough is rising, I will play a video game for approximately 90 minutes. Then I will reconvene back in my kitchen to finish making the pizza, put it in the oven, and do the taste test. I have done 2 of them so far. They have been fun, in my opinion. And viewers seem to agree as well because I get decent turnout. So that will be tomorrow at probably like 6. I don't want to start too late because then I'm ending up eating dinner at like 10:30 p.m. Which is bad for everybody involved, including the people I'm cooking dinner for. So we're going to try earlier tomorrow. That'll be the same channel. I'll post the time on Twitter when I plan to do it. I'll do one tomorrow and then probably 2 weeks from tomorrow. Every other week is my goal, because every week is simply too much labor for setting up a cooking show inside your house. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. The game we're playing is Everywhere Road Trip for the PS2, which is like a RPG where you're a car PG, if you will. You assume the role of a car in this giant open world game in the PS2. You find quests to do in your little car body. You compete in races around the world and become the fastest car that you can be. It's fun. I am at 3 out of 6 necessary races towards beating the game. So we'll get some more of those done next time. I think that's all I got for this, for now. So I will see who's still streaming, and then I will send you on your way. Because I think this is all I need for today. I don't think I've got much more in the tank. Oh, and thank you for the follow. Raps Perhaps. I'm going to give you the whole spiel right now. Welcome to the Skeleton Crew, Raps Perhaps. When it does not read rest in peace on your tombstone, you get drafted into the Skeleton War, you see? But you voluntarily signed up for the Skeleton War, so you're saving some poor draftee from getting conscripted. We really appreciate your service, and we'll fight the good fight out there. Thank you very much, bud. I hope to see you tomorrow, whenever, and etc, etc. And I gotta give you the warm Skeletom greeting in the VTube Studio Discord when I'm done streaming as well, because you said you joined there as well. So now the question is, who the hell is streaming right now that I can go send you on a raid for? Twitch.tv. Who's streaming? Somebody. Anybody? Anyone? I'm gonna send you to Gundam VTuber, friend of mine. I don't know. I shouldn't say friend. I know of them, and they know of me, but I don't know if we're friends yet. Her name is Tsukimi. She's playing Mecha Mechanic Simulator, because her gimmick is that she is a Gundam mechanic. I didn't know there was a game specifically for her like this, but apparently there is. So we're gonna do raid Tsukimi, BDOHRNII. Did I spell it right? I did. Excellent. So give her the warm undead welcome when you get there. I will see you hopefully all tomorrow for Pizzatsudan number 3. And until then, bonus era, good night, and yeah, please anticipate the pizza delivery tomorrow.